Okay, in this video I want to show this problem, the implicit functions. Okay, many of you didn't get this problem correct in the midterm, so I want to solve something like this. Okay, our goal is to find the first order derivative of y with respect to x, y prime, at this point, particular point on the curve. And the curve is described by this expression, right? Well, which is not, which doesn't look like y equals something. The function doesn't, the y doesn't stand by itself. Looking at this big equation, there's a y here, and y is square here, and there's another y there, all over the place. So how can you solve y? So take the derivative of y for this kind of equation. Well, if you remember, you can apply this operation, taking the derivative operation on the entire equation, both the left and right. Just like multiplication. Okay. So we take the derivative on the entire equation. And this differential operator with respect to x, it's distributed. It can be distributed like this. Just like multiplication by a constant. Okay. So you'll be differentiating x squared y squared x x to the fourth power and the y dx. And what about this one, the right side? You're taking the differential on a constant 8, right? What is that? That's 0, right? 8 doesn't change with the change of x, so that's why it's 0. But we need to evaluate these 4 terms. Well, the fourth term is already found, and that's what we want. But how do we calculate this term? Well, if you remember, it goes like this. You want to take differential of, you treat this as a product function, and then take the derivative of x squared first, you get 2x, and then y stays the same, right? And then you take the derivative with y while keeping x squared. Yeah, that's the result of the first term. What about the second term? Do the same thing. Product function, you remember? Product rule is uv plus u, right? I'm just applying this rule on each term. Okay, the second term will become like this inside this parenthesis. First, you take a derivative with respect to y of y squared with respect to x, so 2y pops out. But remember, you have to use the chain rule. Dy dx appears, and then x, this x stays put, right? And then next term, you take the derivative with x, right? So dx over dx is just 1, so y squared comes out. third term, this term, is simply 4x cubed. And then we have the fourth term, y dy dx equals 0. Now, what we want to find is these terms. These are just, we can treat them as a constant or a variable to solve for. Okay, and regard other variables x and y as a constant. So you're solving for this dy dx. So let's put them together. Okay, dy dx. dy dx is the same thing as y prime, but okay. Yeah, group all the terms containing dy dx. So it's the second term. Third term, it's got the 2 xy, and then the last term, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 term. It's just 1. Right? And the rest of the terms, namely these terms. Okay, this one, this one, this one. Those terms don't come with the dy dx, so it should be moved to the other side. Okay. So 2xy is moved to the other side, so it turns negative 2xy. And then this guy moves to the other side as well. And the last term, the 4x cubed. Okay. We're solving again for the red box, this guy. Okay, so dy dx is found by dividing the entire equation by this bracket. So that bracket goes under fraction 2xy plus 1, and on the right you have negative 2xy minus y squared minus 4x cubed. It looks complicated, and you feel like simplifying it, but you don't have to, because it will take time to figure out the simplification, or we may not be able to simplify it. So we know what to do next, right? We enter x equals 1 and y equals 8. Evaluate the y prime, namely dy dx, at this particular location. So enter 1 and 8 in x, y respectively. So 2 times 1 times 8 minus 8 square minus 4 times 1 cubed over 1 square plus 2 times 1 times 8 plus 1. So negative 16. This is negative 16, right? 64 minus 4 over 1 times 1 plus 16 plus 1, so 18. 18. The numerator is 20, so negative 20, so 84 over 18, which is divisible by 2. So 42 over 9. Oh, I think it's divisible by 6. Let me divide both by side with 6. 40 over 3. So that's the result.